last speaker is Hilary Szymujko. She is head of program in a company called Brinc. Brinc is and I know them for a little while, I would call them an ultra hands-on accelerator for hardware startups. Hilary leads knowledge, initiatives, investments, and development. She has an extensive experience working with founders across the world to learn, fundraise, and grow with companies like Seedcamp, Swire, Blueprint, and now Brinc here in Hong Kong. She knows what it takes to succeed within innovation. She will tell you what we know today in IoT. The current state, the breakthroughs, and how she sees us moving to even a more connected world, and most importantly, how the opportunities lies within that area. So in short, the magic of innovation. Hilary, could you please show us the way?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. I'll try to get as many laughs as Suresh did. So that was a very enjoyable talk. So as Lars mentioned, when he asked me to speak, he posed the question, talk about what do you know to be true? And reflecting on what I do every day, which is investing in very early stage companies, often pre-product, concepts that are not proven, it might not even be proven technically possible, let alone the market, whether the market wants it, in a space that is IoT or Internet of Things, which is very young, also largely unproven when it comes to business cycles. There's actually a lot more that we don't know. There's not many truths in this space. And so instead, I live in a world of hypotheses. We're constantly making hypotheses. We make it about our teams, we make it with our teams, we make it about the future of the market, the future of our market. And so today, I wanted to walk through this process of hypotheses and share with you some of our hypotheses about IoT and invite you to be part of this experiment. So first off, to develop our hypothesis, we have to know where we are today and look at the past and project this into the future. So where are we today? We know there are about 3 billion people on the internet. That's 40% of the world. That's not very much. We know that following trends from the past, we can expect in the next 5 years there to be another 4 to 5 billion people come online. That's huge. That's a lot more people online. Think how big the internet feels today. It's only going to get bigger, and it's going to get bigger faster. And then looking at IoT, the Internet of Things, things connected to the internet, we know that in about 5 years' time, we can expect there to be 50 billion devices connected to the internet. 50 billion devices. So not only do we have all those people providing data online, we're now going to have all these things adding data online. And within 10 years' time, by 2025, McKinsey projects that value, that economic value to be created by these things to be upwards of $4 trillion US per year. 4 trillion US per year. And that's the low end of that estimate. The high end is 11 trillion. And so this is going to affect everything. It's going to affect our factories. It's going to affect our offices. It's going to affect our bodies. It's going to affect our homes, our workplaces, the outside world. So this is coming. And I know for most of you, when I say IoT, the first thing that comes to mind is gadgets, like connected toasters or a coffee machine that I can start with my phone. And for the most part, that's true. There's a lot of that out there. But that's because we're still in the very early stage. We're still in the first phase of getting stuff online in a physical world that was not created with the internet in mind. So this is the first phase. But I can tell you that technology is very quickly moving beyond this. So of course, thanks to Google, we're going to have driving cars on the streets of California this summer testing. We also see BMW, Mercedes, Toyota, established traditional car companies all moving into this driverless car space. So it is a very short time we're going to see these distributed globally. This is coming very quickly. On the other end of the spectrum, we have a lot of small companies tackling these issues too. So one company that I recently learned about and I love is called PillCam. And what they create is a camera-sized pill. A pill-sized camera that you can swallow. Yeah, that would be funny. That you swallow, and actually as it passes through your body over 8 hours, it sends pictures and data to another device from inside your gastrointestinal tract. And from that device, your doctor can upload those images, upload that data, and make a diagnosis. And you pass it through, and that's it. So you can now get a diagnosis and very in-depth detail about your health without leaving your home, without any sort of invasive procedure. That's pretty cool. And on the topic of things getting small, and I think actually L'Oreal might be in the room today. L'Oreal came out with something very cool that I appreciate with my fair skin. They came out with a fake tattoo, essentially. So a sensor that's embedded in what looks like a fake tattoo. You put it on your skin, and it can detect the UV exposure that you've had. It communicates this with your phone. It lets you know when you should put on more sunscreen, and if you're at risk of overexposure to UV. So that's really important, especially in the space of preventing skin cancer and so on. But more importantly, that's how thin and small these sensors are getting. The technology is moving that direction. And of course, there's all this technology underpinning it and helping it with us. So AI, advancements in AI and cloud computing, it's all coming together. And with that, while technology still isn't distributed right now, it's only in the hands of few, in a few years' time, that shirt you're wearing, the table you're standing near, even the food you ate today will likely be connected to the internet. That's pretty exciting stuff, right? That's huge. That's crazy. But I think what's even more exciting is the less celebrated side of IoT. It's the everyday changes that are coming, because we also know that product development outpaces the change in infrastructure. We're not going to wake up in 10 years to the Jetson landscape of Orbit City. No, instead we're going to adapt our current world to this. And I say we because this literally is going to be all of us. We're all going to be a part of this future. We're all going to have agency and responsibility and intent, as Suresh mentioned. And what I mean by that is because when every single thing is connected to the internet, that means everything is programmable. So we can code it. We can tell it what to do. That means everything is collecting data. It's collecting information about every one of us, about its environment. It means everything's quantifiable. It means everything's social. We can talk to things. Things can talk to us. Things can talk to each other. And that also means that every company is going to become a software company. We're already seeing this, especially with digital marketing that we talked about earlier today, and it's just going to become more. And that means also that every company is going to become a data company, because with all these things providing all this information, we're going to have to do something about it, right? We got to use that. It's really valuable. And so I think what I want to talk about is how we can all be part of this and make sure that these 50 million or 50 billion devices in 5 years aren't 50 billion smart toasters, but actually really impactful technology that can help us live better and be better citizens of this planet, our home. And so 3 examples in this that I want to talk about on how we can see this shaping up in the future is first, greater business efficiency. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? Data drives good business decisions. So the more data we have, the more efficient we can be with our businesses. This is good. This means more cash, right? We can be better operating, get that bottom line going, really healthy. But it also means that we can be better consumers of our resources. So for example, there's a town in the US right now that has water sensors, or sensors on their water supply. And so not only can the water company then repair leaks and knows where leaks are exactly happening and knows when, they can go in and repair and be reactive, but they can be predictive as well. So they know when water usage is going up, when it's going down, and they can allocate resources accordingly. But even more important is coming back to the customer, they can share that data with the customers. So they know when they're using or consuming a lot of water and when they're not. And they can change their behavior to save money themselves and also save resources. So I think business efficiency and seeing this through devices, the information we're going to collect is going to be really powerful. And that's, I think, a quite obvious one. The next I want to talk about is underused assets and resources. And I mean, that's people, that's space, that's also things. And this is one of the promises of driverless cars. Why should we have a car sitting in a car park for 8 hours when other people could be using it too? And so if the car can drive itself to pick up people, we can all share it. And this is a great use of things. But it also applies to the spaces we live in. So if an office, for example, has sensors and knows where people are moving in the building, it can then inform the air conditioner to shut off when no one's in there, or the lights to shut off. But it can also inform the cleaning crew. No one was in that room. You don't have to vacuum there. You can save time. You can save energy. It can also help us direct to be better users of our space. So if there's a dead spot in the office, well, let's change that up. Let's make better use of that space. Or if we want to drive collaboration, we can look at traffic patterns and set a coffee stand or kind of drive areas where people can collaborate and work together. That's the promise of co-working or the open space offices, but I think we can actually even be smarter about that. And finally, the final thing I want to share is about one that I'm particularly passionate about, I think is actually IoT can make us make less things, but better things. So we can be smarter about the things we make. And we can do this by simply flipping a business model. And I want to take this one company in Europe called Bundles as an example. So it's a washing machine. Think about a washing machine. Most of us have one. When you go out and buy a washing machine, you usually buy one that's for consumers like you and me for home use. It's within our budgets, begrudgingly, and we know it has a life expectancy of about 10 years because we live in a culture of what's called built-in obsolescence. It's going to die in 10 years. We're going to have to replace it within 8 to 10 years, toss it out, get a new one. But what if we didn't have to buy a washing machine? So that's Bundle's question. Instead of giving you this run-of-the-mill 8 years and dead washing machine, they give you this Corvette of a washing machine, really high-end, made to last, high quality, way out of your price range device, this washing machine, and you don't buy it. You don't buy it. They install it in your home, you didn't pay a penny for it. Instead, you pay per wash. Pretty cool. So you're only paying for what you're actually using. And because it's a smart washing machine, it can report this to the company, send you billings, let you know how much you're using, let you know how much water you're using as well, order you new laundry detergent, very cool. And more importantly, it can communicate how well it's doing to the company. So it can say, hey, I need a checkup, I'm not running as efficiently. Or I probably should be repaired right now. Or maybe you should take me in and trade me for another machine and recycle my parts because I'm approaching the end of my life. So this creates a business that's regenerative, restorative. It's what we call the circular economy. And so I want to leave you with a quote. I want to make sure I get it right, so I wrote it down. As we approach this crazy, wonderful future that's more dynamic, that's more technologically advanced, but also more populated, more globalized, we're going to have many challenges ahead of us. And so I want to leave you with a quote from Andrew McAfee. He's at MIT right now, and he wrote The Second Machine Age. And he says, we have tremendous challenges ahead of us. We have to improve the human condition around the world as the population grows, while at the same time learning to tread more lightly on our planet. The only way we'll meet them, and I'm confident that we will, is with the combination of technological progress, innovation, markets, and goodwill. And so I believe, and I challenge you, that with IoT as the driving innovation and technological progress, and with your innovation around the room and our companies and our personal goodwill and markets, we can make a better future. Thank you.